My life has been kind of a disaster. Okay, I'll stop. I'm trying something different and I'm very nervous. I'm trying StreamYard. I've never used StreamYard, but I thought I'd try it out and I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. But I'm very excited because I'm feeling better and I can finally fucking stream and I'm so excited. I've missed streaming so much. So the fact that I'm streaming back to back days is like yes. Okay. Um I hope the sound is okay. I hope things are okay. Um a little nervous because I don't really know how things are gonna like work out, but we'll see. We'll see. Baby steps, baby steps. But I really want to do kind of a main focus on ice today because ice is out of fucking control. Like ice is truly out of fucking control. And I'm noticing something, and I don't know if anyone else is too, that it's not getting as much attention anymore. I don't know. As much as it needs to be. Like it's kind of reminding me about when with Palestine. People, myself included, I have to acknowledge, seeing so much harm being done was very overwhelming. And sometimes you would scroll past. But at the same time, I think that what's important is it doesn't really matter because you still have to understand that these things are still happening. And since they're still happening, like you need to understand that how can I make a difference? What can I do? How do I make change? Um, if that makes sense. So I thought I'd do this. I hope things turn out good. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Remember, I usually use OBS and I don't usually stream on YouTube. I'm trying something new, so I'm excited. Um, but I thought I would start with Jacob Soboroff, who does, in my opinion, does incredible reporting. He interviewed hi. He does he's from MS Now, and I'm sorry. I'm not calling it MS Now. I like, to be honest, tell me if I'm wrong. MS Now sounds like, "Hi, you have MS now." Like, it's like, no. No, MS Now is whoever came up with that fucking name, stop it. It's terrible. It's a terrible name. It's a terrible fucking name. I hate it. Um, but Jacob Soboroff, he interviewed the 19-year-old that was literally on her way to go surprise her family for Thanksgiving. And I think it's really important to understand how these are everyday people. These are people who are just trying to live their lives. These are not criminals like the 34 count convicted felon in the White House. So I think it's important to acknowledge that. And I think it's important to hear what they have to say for themselves. So this is her interview, and I'll talk about it and we'll break it down. Okay. Remember, I'm still like trying to figure this out. On to stage. Okay, I did it before. Before presenting a screen to. It literally worked like two. There we go. Add. And then add. And then. Okay, remove, add. Edit. Oh my gosh. Okay, here, then here, then here. Move other media from stream stage. Dude, this is the one thing I literally practiced. I practiced this and I can see it. I'm getting annoyed now. I'm so sorry. Bear with me. Because okay, it's right there. Oh, got it. I'm so sorry you had to have that jump scare. Ugh, look at that fucking ugly fucking face. Okay.
I want to talk.
Let me know if the volume sounds okay and if there's any issues. So
to you about what happened.
And let me put the captions on. Yeah, I feel like that's a good spot. Okay.
Happen. You go to the airport, Logan Airport, to surprise your family for Thanksgiving, and you go through the checkpoint, like the normal security checkpoint, and then tell me what happened.
Yeah, everything was going really well after I did my security check. I was in there waiting until the gate was like when open. Right up when the gate opened, it was my turn for my ticket to be scanned, but it appears something was wrong with my ticket. So I got sent to go to customer service, and when I go to customer service, there were two ICE agent waiting for me.
Two ICE agents were waiting for you at customer service.
Yes.
What?
No, she's 19. Like, she's not, like, look at her. She's fucking 19. She's a business major at Babson. Like, she's young. Like, she's a child. Okay, she's an adult if you want to be technical. And imagine two ICE agents like waiting for you. That's fucking terrifying.
What did they say to you?
They were like, Annie, right? And I was like, yes. And then they told me, okay, you're gonna come with us because you're gonna have to sign a bunch of paperwork. And I was like, oh, but I have to board my plane right now. And they were like, oh, you're not even gonna be on that plane. And that's where it kind of like hit me. This is ICE.
Had you seen what was happening around the country to other people, that all of these ICE agents are out in all these cities picking people up and deporting them back to the country that they came from?
Yes, I was really aware.
Did you instantly recognize that that was what might be happening to you?
Yes, but I was always like on God's hand. So I never thought that it was gonna happen to me.
Did they tell you, first of all, did you tell them what you were going to do, that you were going home to surprise your mom and dad for Thanksgiving?
I told them when I was in the car.
And what did they tell you about why they were taking you?
The people who basically like arrested me, they didn't tell me the reason why. They just only told me that I had to sign a bunch of paperwork.
It's fine.
And that was the only reason that they told me.
So they didn't read her rights. They just took her. And they were allowed to take her. No warrant. She was not a flight risk because she was going to another state. That's not a flight. Okay, if you want to be technical, it's a flight risk, but still, she was at the airport. They knew she was at the airport. This doesn't make any fucking sense, to be honest. Why her? Why target a 19-year-old girl who literally is going to, and Babson's a really good fucking school. Babson's a really good fucking school. And I don't understand.
You came to the US as a really little kid, 7 or 8, right?
Yes, 7.
The government says that you had what's called a final order of removal, that that you were supposed to be deported. Did you know that?
No.
And so when you tried to explain that to them, and they sent you to the detention center, you feel like they listened to you?
No.
Tell me what happened once they sent you to the detention center, Annie. They put you to the detention center first after they picked you up at Logan Airport in Burlington, and then they sent you to Texas. Your lawyer says that...
What? They sent her to fucking Texas? So that's one thing that ICE is doing, is to get out of it. They keep moving people. Oh, haha. As you can see, I'm playing with things around. They keep switching things around. What they're doing first is they take you, and then in less than 24 hours, you could be in fucking Louisiana, you could be in Texas, you can be anywhere. And I think what's really scary is they do this because they don't want you to have a fucking lawyer. They do this so your lawyers can't find you, your family can't find you. Some people are moved in 4 days to 4 different facilities. Like it's not something that is very, like, it's so corrupt. It's not even fucking funny. It bothers me so much that this is like our lives, I guess. I don't know. It's just, you don't think that this would happen, and it does, and then you're just like, I don't understand.
They weren't supposed to put you on a plane and deport you to Honduras, but they did anyways. What happened there?
Yeah, I didn't got to talk to him because everything just happened so fast. When I got there on the first day that I got there on Thursday, they just only took me there. After I was there for a couple of hours, they gave me the reason, which it was that I had a deportation order. And after that, I was able to talk to my family, and hours passed.
She was already in Texas by this time when she was able to talk to her family. She was already in Texas.
And even the night passed, and in the morning, that's where I found out that I was that they were gonna transfer me to Texas. And I was like, like, can we call like my family so I can let them know? They didn't allow me to, so I didn't even know that my lawyer had put it orders so I wouldn't be able to, so ICE couldn't move me to Texas.
Wait, what?
Was like, oh, like, can we call like my family so I can let them know? They didn't allow me to. So I didn't even know that my lawyer had put it orders so I wouldn't be able to, so that ICE couldn't move me to Texas.
And Annie, I read that once they put you on the plane to Honduras, they put you in shackles and
So 19 years old, they don't tell her that her lawyer literally put in a petition that tells them that she's not supposed to be deported, that she literally has to be here until she could see a lawyer and she can be talked to. She didn't know that. She wasn't told that. That's fucking insane. Like, and I want people to understand the Constitution includes undocumented people. Like, the Constitution includes undocumented people, whether you like it or not. The Constitution includes anyone who sets foot on this land. That's what the founding fathers wanted. And so it's very frustrating and very, very vile that this administration, no, it's not fuck that. It's not an administration. It's a fucking regime. That this regime has worked so fucking hard to destroy people's lives because they are undocumented, because they are not white, because the United States wants to create a white nationalist society. My dog just came in and she's now sleeping.
handcuffs. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was that experience like as a college freshman going home to meet your mom and dad for Thanksgiving to surprise them, only to be put into shackles on a plane with other people, I assume, who are being deported to Honduras as well?
It felt like if I was a criminal when I'm not. And it just felt really awful because not only that, but like that kind of hurts. Like not only seeing me, but seeing a bunch of us being treated like that, being treated like criminals.
When you got to Honduras, my understanding is you went to your grandparents' house and finally, after days of your parents looking.
So, like, that's another thing that, like, she's not a fucking criminal. She literally came here when she was a child. She was 7 years old. And thank God she has family in Honduras. Some people don't even have family in Honduras or wherever they're deporting them. Sometimes the regime is deporting people to countries they've never been to. Like, that's how fucking insane things have become.
You were able to get on the phone and talk to your dad. What did you tell him? What was that phone call like?
I was like, when I got here, my immediately instinct told me to call my parents. And thank God I was able to and let them know, Mom, like, I was like, Mom, I got deported. I'm here. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. She was just like, it's okay. We already knew. We found out. Everything's gonna be fine. And it hurt me because I wasn't able to let them know that I was gonna get deported, and I didn't even know that I was gonna get deported until I was on the plane. And
Annie, I'm so sorry. And the thought that comes to mind for me is that, you know, you hear Donald Trump and all these people say over and over they're going after the worst of the worst. But you're a college freshman from Babson who was there on a scholarship. Your dad works in a tailor shop in Texas. He was so proud of you when you got in to go to school there. He ran in and was telling everybody, according to reports I read, about how ecstatic he was and how much he loves you. Are you a criminal? Are you the worst of the worst?
no.
What's it like for you to hear you and people like you described in that way?
What was your question? I couldn't hear you.
What's it like for you to hear people like you described in that way, as being the worst of the worst, as being a criminal?
I mean, people are always gonna talk, um, say their opinion, but they don't know what we go through. For example, like many people like me, many undocumented people, um, who are getting themselves ready to go to college. It's really difficult for us because we try to find the best that we can to be able to fulfill our dreams, and people saying like we're criminals, it's just not right.
What do you want?
I think for me, as a daughter of an immigrant, um, I'm very lucky that I am an American citizen. My mom always said to me, Sophia, like America's the greatest country in the world. You're so lucky to have been born here. Um, and to hear the kind of rhetoric, um, and to see the harm that the United States government is targeting on my people is really hard. And I think the thing that really frustrates me is that it seems like not enough people fucking care in like mainstream media. That's why I'm so glad that Jacob Soboroff is doing this. For such a long time, the mainstream media just kind of brushed over the fact that Trump was talking about Spanish people in such fucking vile ways and talking about Somali people in such fucking vile ways. We're fucking human beings. We're better than um Trump. All of us put together. And I know that because the people that they're deporting are just here to work hard to make a better life for their family. Meanwhile, Trump is literally corrupting this entire country. He's literally scheming and doing fraud, doing everything possible. Yeah, he is a racist, rapist, pedo. And that's what's, I think, very hard is how many people, like, yeah, he has a 36% approval rating. The fact that he even has that high, that's it high in my opinion. But I think what the thing is, it's just like they're kidnapping American citizens that look like us. Um, it doesn't matter. As long as you are not white, they're taking you. The amount of constitutional rights that were broken with her and just her story shows how far gone this country has become, how lawless this country has become. It's gotten to the point where people don't really understand that the United States prides itself on constitutional rights. And I think people forget how important our constitutional rights are until we realize how easily they can be taken away. Not once was she allowed to talk to her lawyer. That in and of itself is against the Constitution. She wasn't able to. It doesn't sound like she was read any rights, her Miranda rights. Again, against her constitutional rights. And yeah, they may, to us, we never think that would happen. I mean, why do you think that would happen? But it has, and I don't think enough people truly understand how vital your constitutional rights are until they're gone.
Donald Trump to know if the president is watching this interview and he sees that
He's not.
his Department of Homeland Security just picked up a college freshman from Babson who was studying business and, you know, wanted to have a bright future ahead of her in the United States. What do you want the president to know?
That not all of us are criminals. That many of us come here to be able to work, be able to be able to live a better life from our countries. Many of us want to just work and provide for their families. We are here also to go to college because we want a better education, we just want a better kind of lifestyle. But not all of us are criminals. And he says that all of us are criminals. He's extremely wrong, because many of us just want a better life with an education, a job.
There's a lot of people out there right now, Annie, who are pulling for you. Your story is everywhere, all across the country, as I'm sure you know. Do you feel hopeful that you'll be able to get back here soon and be with your family again?
Yes, I am very hopeful that I can go back and see my family.
Maybe the last thing I'll just ask you is, what are your hopes for the future?
My hopes for the future is to first see my family, be able to hug them, and also be able to finish my college. And from there, since I don't know, be able to open up a business, which it was my dream, and try to live a better life.
I'm sure your family misses you very much, and I know your friends do too. I want to say again, I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and I'm so grateful for you taking the time to talk to me. I hope you'll keep us posted and let us know what happens. And I know there's a lot of people out there pulling for you, Annie. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Babson's a very good fucking school. For her to get a full scholarship shows how fucking smart she is. Like, Babson's a really good fucking school. Like, I don't think people understand how good that school is. But it's a really good school. So here, Trump's now in New Orleans. I thought I heard it bark. And the thing that's really, I think, hard to understand is, like, what is the fucking point? Oh, here we go. Like, what is the reason? Like, what is the point of this? Like, like, why? And I think it's important to know that, like, it's because they want to instill as much fear as they possibly can. Hope for the future is Epstein network to be arrested. Yeah, me fucking too. Me fucking too. So let's talk about additional, and then I have some clips on how terrifying it is to be in Louisiana right now.
The immigration crackdown is now underway in Louisiana. DHS confirmed it launched Operation Catahoula Crunch, named for the Louisiana state dog, this morning. CNN obtained this video of ICE.
That is so fucking stupid. I hate them so much. Oh my God.
Agents earlier today detaining and questioning someone, the legal status of a man at a Home Depot with some 28 miles west of New Orleans in the suburb of Laplace. And New Orleans is also bracing for the arrival of federal agents and eventually the National Guard as well. The city's mayor-elect and first Latina to lead City Hall tells CNN she fears DHS tactics will target people of color.
That's why they chose. I was wondering why they chose New Orleans, to be completely honest. I was kind of confused about that. That makes more sense.
What they're seeing on TV and reports that they're seeing is not
Yes,
that
he is.
Border
We'll
Patrol
talk
is
about that
going
next.
after the most violent criminals. You know, that's not what they're seeing. What they're seeing is what appears to be racial profiling of brown people, and then going after these individuals and treating them like they are these significantly violent offenders.
We're joined now by Oliver Thomas. He's a New Orleans City Council member, a former Democratic mayoral candidate as well, and the chair of the council's Criminal Justice Committee. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. The incoming mayor, of course, concerned about profiling. Is there anything in place now to prevent that in your community?
No, and she should be concerned, and rightfully so. Congratulations to her for at least letting our community know that there is some concern. We shouldn't have raids or have posses that invade our community to do roundups. We want the most violent people, whether they're illegal immigrants or whether they're from our communities, we want them off of our streets. But surely there has to be a better coordinated effort in a way to do this without treating us like we're Dodge City or some part of the Wild West.
We heard in similar situations in Charlotte, for example, that there had been a noticeable decline in student attendance at school. I think in Charlotte, it dropped by like 15% on a given week when these operations were taking place. I imagine that you have concerns not only about schools, but businesses as well.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about early on, when we saw what was happening in other parts of the country, we talked about, and even many folk, conservative folk who are involved in our economics and our business community, why are they raiding job sites? Why are they shutting down projects across America without coordinating with local officials? Surely our government knows who these illegal immigrants are, the ones who are rapists, the domestic violence, the ones who are murderers or robbers who are killing people. You can't tell me that they don't know who they are, that they can't coordinate with state and local officials and go apprehend those people. You know, this isn't the Wild Wild West. We don't need roaming posses. And the mayor-elect is correct. People don't see it as an effort. In many cases, there are large parts of the community who don't see it as an effort to get the most violent people off the street. They see it as an effort to round up one of the most vulnerable populations. And in many cases, especially when you look at New Orleans, where would we be post-Katrina without much of our immigrant population?
Yep.
People coming from around the world to help us rebuild.
A really incredible, and I mean like incredible docuseries. Let me see if I can find it. I just have to like shout this docuseries out because it's like it stuck out so what is it called? Come Hell and High Water. It looks like this. It's on Netflix. It's incredible. And I highly recommend it if anyone is interested in a documentary. It's incredible.
Talk to us more about that, because a lot of folks aren't quite as familiar with the history of New Orleans when it comes to the impact that these migrants have had. There's a sense of appreciation for them.
Yeah, especially here, you know, our brothers and sisters, I'll never forget there was a group from Jamaica, Ray and their group, many of our Hispanic brothers and sisters who were skilled laborers. While people were displaced, they were here helping us do mold remediation, rebuild critical infrastructure, repair homes and commercial infrastructure. So they were and still are a vital part of our community. I'm sure that there's a better way to do it. There's a better way for Border Patrol and ICE to coordinate with our police department.
ICE needs to be abolished. Period. ICE cannot exist. We didn't have ICE till 2003. I don't know if you knew that. ICE was created in 2003. It was created after 9/11 to ramp up the war on terror. And before that, Border Patrol handled everything. So if the United States could last that fucking long without ICE, they can do it again. You cannot go back after what ICE has done. There is no fucking way that you can go back to how things were ever. And that's something I think we need to demand of the Democrats. Because one thing that really I've been seeing a lot of is they like people have been wanting from Democrats is be anti-Israel, don't accept AIPAC money, stuff like that. Very important. Don't get me wrong. They need to be anti-ICE. They need to be anti this. Because how do you expect to make change when Trump literally in this bullshit fucking bill gave $1 billion to these fucking Nazis? No, it needs to be abolished. Period. You will never win the trust, ever, of the people in this country. Democrat, you have to be anti-ICE. If ICE is not abolished, there's going to be a serious issue. Especially after all of our rights have been violated over and over and over again. And so that's one thing I want to see more of people demanding is anti-ICE. ICE in concept makes sense. In practice, they go about it wrong. ICE in concept does not make sense. The reason why is, well, that's Border Patrol. That's what I'm saying. Border Patrol is literally ICE. You fix the immigration process. That's what you have to focus on. Instead of putting all the money in ICE, you fix the immigration process. You don't make it take 25 years to become a citizen. It shouldn't be $40,000 to become a citizen. That's how much people have to pay for their lawyers, for the constant things, because they're constantly pushed back. There's not enough immigration judges. There's not enough immigration lawyers. You have to fix the actual system to fix the problem. If you don't fix the actual system, there will always be a problem. That is why ICE needs to be abolished. Anyone in the process should not be counted as illegal. Well, they are. That's the problem. The whole reason why Obama is considered the deporter in chief was because Border Patrol was literally stopping people at the border. They crossed like one or two steps and then they turned them around and that's it. That's deportation. But not enough people see it that way. In my opinion, you need immigrants to make countries thrive. You need, especially if you know the history of the United States on their geopolitics, and if you don't, that's okay. The United States has completely destroyed Latin America. The United States is responsible for destroying South America. The countries of the people that are coming here are because of the United States. That is why when you talk about Venezuela and how Trump says we need to invade by land, we need to invade by land, all this stuff. It's because he wants to do regime change. That means Americans will die. Millions of people will be displaced. And where will they go? Where will those displaced people go? Up. They will go up to the United States or to Canada. When you create a destabilized situation, what do you expect? Which then destabilizes the surrounding countries. That is why there is such a destabilization with Afghanistan and Iraq. You destabilize everything, destabilize the Middle East completely. Where do you expect people to go? They have to go somewhere. Right now, we are currently seeing children and people living in their own feces and infested waters in Gaza because Israel's refusing to let in aid. That could be, think of that situation, but worldwide with every destruction the United States has done. Imagine that specific situation, but in other countries, other areas, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran. They have to go somewhere. Where do you think they will go? That is why there is such an increase in Europe. That is why there's such an increase in Canada, the United States. Libya is literally a slave country. It is literally a fallen slave country because of the United States. The United States forced the dictator to release his nukes, and then they cut him alive, basically, in public because he gave up his nukes. And then the countries that fight back, against the United States and the United States imperialism, what happens to them? Look at Cuba. The moment the United States realized that Fidel Castro was not going to let the United States take over, the United States put sanctions that decimated Cuba, decimated it. So, same with Venezuela. Maduro doesn't work with the United States. He is still a dictator, but you're forgetting there's sanctions. The sanctions are also decimating the country, killing people because they're starving to death or they're not getting the correct medicine. It all is because of American imperialism and American colonialism. So immigrants, and the thing is, what's really fucking annoying is the United States is the country of immigrants. Like, it is literally the country of immigrants. Like, the only people who truly belong to this land are indigenous people. We are all immigrants. Everyone is an immigrant. So I do not understand why it is so fucking hard for people to understand that when you are on stolen land, that makes you an immigrant. I think it's very fascinating that people who are Italian and Irish are against Spanish people now when they literally were considered different. Their ancestors were treated differently because they were Irish, because they were Italian in the United States. It's all about context. So I think I think that to fix the system, that is how you do it. You make the process easier. You make asylum easier. Asylum, almost a majority of the people, like for example, Seclot, 230 people, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia, were sent to Secot. They were human trafficked. The United States made a deal with Bukele. Bukele is the dictator of El Salvador. The United States, what happened with them is they gave El Salvador $6 million. And then the United States had a deal with Marco Rubio and said, if you release X number of your prisoners that testified against me, I will take the 230 Venezuelans. So Marco Rubio put FBI lives on the line because he released those people who were actually Tren de Agua, who were actually gang members. Marco Rubio released them back to Bukele because Bukele worked with the gangs. That's how he became elected. He worked with the gangs and they were testifying against him. So the United States, that's another story, like that in of itself. My point is that the human trafficked, a majority of the people, to our knowledge, because the United States to this day still refuses to give a full list, they said, hey, a majority of these people are asylum seekers. And the thing is, one of them is currently missing now. After the United States kept pressuring and pressuring, they were never going to come back. So they made a deal with Maduro. They were going to take, but the thing is, a majority of these people ran from Maduro because they were protesting against them. They were seeking political asylum. So obviously they were very happy to leave Secot, but at the same time, they were going back to a place where they ran from to seek political asylum. One of them is now currently missing. No one has any idea where he is. They report that he was, let me see if I can actually, let me try to find the actual news clip. Missing Venezuela. Missing after transfer. I literally just saw it. I saw a clip of it. Is this it? Yes. Okay. There's it. So this is from Politico. Judge says improperly deported man now missing in Venezuela. The Trump-appointed judge stopped short of launching contempt proceedings against the administration. Here's the thing. Launch the fucking contempt. Like, hello, what are we doing? This was last month. A man that the Trump administration improperly deported to El Salvador in March, despite an ongoing effort to claim asylum in the United States, is now missing in Venezuela, according to a federal judge. As District Judge Stephanie Gallagher described the party's current knowledge of the whereabouts of the man, known in court papers as Christian, in a ruling that described repeated violations of her orders by the Trump administration. The Trump administration said the loss of communication between Christian and his attorneys was evidence of the man's desire to remain in Venezuela. I'm sorry, that's fucking insane. So because he stopped talking to his fucking lawyers, they're like, yeah, he wanted to stay in Venezuela. That's not how things fucking work. Christian and his attorneys was evidence of the man's desire to remain in Venezuela. But, Gallagher said, it was equally possible that Christian, quote, has been the victim of anticipated violence that caused him to seek asylum in the United States. Now, remember, this is a Trump-appointed judge, okay? This is not a Biden-appointed judge, an Obama-appointed judge. It's a Trump-appointed judge. This court has seen no evidence that the United States government ever made a good faith request to the government of El Salvador for Christian's return, wrote Gallagher, a Trump appointee based in Maryland, in the 15-page decision. This court has grave concerns about the government's apparent willingness to disregard this court's order. I don't know why she didn't hold them in contempt. It's fucking bullshit, but whatever. Gallagher, however, stopped short of launching contempt proceedings, saying the complexities of the case made such an undertaking unwarranted. Bitch, a man is fucking missing, but sure. Christian is a part of a class action lawsuit stemming from a Biden-era settlement requiring the administration to resolve asylum claims for certain immigrants who arrived in the United States as minors before initiating deportation proceedings. Lawyers in the suit said Christian's abrupt deportation in March violated the settlement, and they have been seeking his return. Oh, so he's needed for something else. Excuse me. The judge noted that her April 23rd order for the Trump administration to facilitate the man's return to the United States would have effectively required Secretary of State Marco Rubio to engage in diplomatic communications with the government of El Salvador. But Gallagher said she could not fairly initiate criminal contempt proceedings because the State Department was not a party to the suit. I don't care if Marco Rubio is not a part of the suit. He literally still should be held in contempt. They ignored your ruling. Like a person is missing. This court cannot see a circumstance where it could impose criminal contempt upon a government agency or official with no authority to convey specific communications directly to El Salvador, Gallagher wrote. Still, the judge wrote that she had wrongly presumed that a federal agency would make its best efforts to effectuate its sister agencies' compliance with the federal court order and took issue with the administration's decision to prioritize a planned prisoner swap between the U.S., Venezuela, and El Salvador over court orders. This court certainly hoped in entering the April 23rd order that events would unfold in that matter and that the federal government as a whole would undertake compliance efforts, Gallagher added. Its hopes were dashed. She also noted that the administration repeatedly defied her orders for regular status updates on efforts to locate and facilitate the man's return. But she said those administrative violations were not sufficient to ignite criminal contempt proceedings. I'm sorry, then what the fuck is? What the fuck is enough to ignite criminal contempt? I don't understand. Gallagher distinguished her order from a decision by a U.S. District Judge, James Boasberg, who decided on Wednesday to resume stalled contempt proceedings against Trump administration officials in a similar lawsuit stemming from the same set of deportation flights in which Christian was whisked to El Salvador. The Department of Homeland Security and State Department did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Politico previously identified Christian as a man named Daniel Lozano Camargo, a Venezuelan in his early 20s living in Houston at the time he was arrested and deported to El Salvador along with more than 100 men subject to President Donald Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act in March. Trump claimed the men were all members of a violent transnational gang, Tren de Agua, but many have contested the claim, and courts, including the Supreme Court, have found they were denied due process to challenge the government's assertion before they were sent to a notorious anti-terrorism prison in El Salvador. All the men subsequently returned to Venezuela as part of the U.S. brokered prisoner swap. Now Christian is in the very country he fled as a child. Gallagher indicated that his lawyers lost touch with him while working to determine whether he wished to return to the United States to resume his fight for asylum and receive the due process he was denied. As this court has already found, Christian never should have been removed from this country without the bargain for protections afforded him under the settlement agreement, Gallagher wrote. Christian is one of the several people that courts have found were deported by the Trump administration without due process or in violation of court orders. He was on the same set of March 15 deportation flights that included Kilmer Abrego Garcia, a Salvadorian man sent to his home country despite a court order finding he was likely to be targeted for gang violence there, another asylum case. Earlier this week, the administration acknowledged the inadvertent deportation of a transgender woman to Mexico, despite an immigration judge's ruling earlier this year that she was likely to be tortured as a result of her identity. Gallagher said that Christian is in Venezuela and is not, quote, in any government's custody. As far as the parties are aware, he has lost touch with his attorneys and his current whereabouts are unknown. So this is what happens when your rights are taken away, when things are violated. And as you saw, the same thing that happened to Ani in that MSNBC story also just happened there. So it's a consistent thing. Nothing's changed. Is Maduro corrupt? Has anything to do with drugs? Or just want to step down and fake elections? Maduro is a dictator. He refused to step down. He kind of did what Trump did, to be honest. Refused to step down when the elections happened, when he lost. And so he's currently a dictator. He has nothing to do with drugs. No, he has nothing to do with drugs. But I think it's very important to understand that the reason they are doing this is because of the oil. They just are refusing to say it. CNN actually had this argument yesterday, so we can break it down. Did he actually lose elections or that? No, he actually did. 80%, I think. Like, he actually did. Maduro actually lost. Because Maduro is still corrupt. Like, I don't know. I think there was more to it, but I know he actually lost. Like, that's not like a propaganda thing. Like, he actually did lose. But they actually talk about Maduro, the oil, and the drugs. But to wrap up what I was saying about making sure that to abolish ICE is the right thing, you just have to fix the actual no, he didn't lose just because of the sanctions. No. He was killing people, he was disappearing people. There's like other reasons. The sanctions was something else. Like, he's not a good person. Like, I will acknowledge that Maduro's not a good person. CNN doesn't make like the most easiest thumbnails for me to decipher things. I know why. Abby Phillips. I normally see like clips on YouTube. That's why. I don't really see have they not put it up? Maybe they haven't. Okay, then I'll go to my Twitter. I guess they haven't put it up yet. The thing is that Abby Phillips is very smart. I really like her, but she invites some like propagandists all the time, and then she like gets mad when they like do propaganda. And it's like, what did you expect? What did you expect? Like, it's just very frustrating when you see that. Not surprising, but frustrating. But this is kind of like when you go after I favored a lot of things. Okay, this is the first one. I think I'm starting to get the hang of everything, and I'm so excited. Okay. So the guy on the right used to be the chairman for the Democratic Party, and this motherfucker Harrison Fields is Trumpy.
Shadowing it with these other pardons. Why is he pardoning a drug trafficker? Why is he pardoning somebody that his own DOJ just prosecuted? Why is he pardoning somebody who was convicted of $1.7 billion in fraud?
If you look at
Why?
a lot of these
So
cases,
why is he pardoning somebody who he and his
This is a different clip, I just realized, but I think it's still important to show the hypocrisy of Trump.
family are in business with?
if you look at a lot of these cases, what you happen to be telling is half the truth. If you
Oh,
look at
really?
the actual
What's the
details,
other
some
half?
of these are over prosecutions. Some of
Okay, the ex-president of Honduras literally said, I want to put as much cocaine up the gringos' noses as possible. Gringo is white in Spanish. The white people's noses. He created 4 new airports. Why does Honduras is a small fucking country. Why do you need 4 fucking airports?
these are crimes that would have never been
Oh,
prosecuted
so the
if it wasn't
Honduran
because
drug trafficker
that is a whole
is
nother. If
half
it's
the
not going to
truth.
take 3 minutes
By
in
the
the
way,
segment to actually look at
who
that.
was the lead investigator
there
in
was
the
a
Honduran,
larger
and the Honduran president's
Yeah,
case?
There was
It
a
Emilio
larger, there was a
Emilio
larger
Bobet.
geopolitical issue there.
Oh,
This was
so
a
Trump
right
is trying
wing.
to influence
This
the Honduran election.
this was the previous
by
administration.
pardoning someone from
Of course,
the,
it's
You're
Joe
putting words in my
Biden's
mouth.
pardoning
What I'm
someone
saying,
from
the
this guy's
previous
political party, but
administration
he's a drug
tried to
trafficker.
make an example out of this person. And if
Hold
you
on a
look at
second.
who
Shouldn't he?
testified
Like I
against
said,
him,
Like I said,
it was drug lords
Anna
that this
just
guy
pointed out that
extradited
the
to the United
Honduran
States of
president's
America.
brother was prosecuted in the part of the scheme, prosecuted by Emile Bovee. That's Trump's former lawyer. He's now in the Trump administration right now. So,
No,
And you guys try to take him
excuse
out.
me, I'm sorry. Now he's on the court.
And
Now
you
he's on the
guys,
court.
and you had
So-
a
So, are you
media-
really
Beauvais is a fucking psychopath.
trying to argue? You were just talking about us defending drug traffickers. Are you trying to defend a drug trafficker?
I'm not. If you look at the facts of the case, you talk about there's a lot of holes in that case.
They're really like that was a solid case. He was 49 years. Pretty solid case.
They try to make an example out of this person. I don't know
Filled
all the
with
facts,
cocaine.
but what I can
Okay,
tell you,
Harrison.
what I can tell you,
Holes
me
filled
just-
with
I
cocaine.
gotta leave it there, but I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave that alone. So there's only one person at this table who's defended a drug trafficker, and it ain't me.
Like it's like I feel like you could push a little bit more. But like just saying. But where's this? There's a specific one where him and Anna Navarro get into it. Anna Navarro is a Republican unless she left the party, I'm not sure. And she is from Miami, and that's important because Florida Republicans are on another level. Marco Rubio is a Florida Republican. I would like to make everyone know that. But Anna Navarro is against regime change, which I think is shocking, to be honest. Glad, but shocking. She talks about is it this clip? I don't know. There might be a couple of clips. Well, maybe I didn't save it. And I'm just like, I would expect them to like have already put it up. Maybe it's this one. It might be this one. It might not. We'll see.
completely invested in getting Maduro out. We've got 1/4 of the arsenal of the U.S. Navy parked off the coast of Venezuela.
Protecting American interests.
What is the American interest? Oil?
Drugs pouring into this country
Okay,
and
most
killing us.
drugs do not come through Venezuela.
And
Then why aren't you bombing Mexico?
So we closed the southern border, and that
Okay,
did
are
a
you going to
really
bomb
good
Mexico?
job. Stop. That's a ridiculous
No, don't you
argument.
stop.
No, that's a ridiculous argument.
No, you're the one being
The
ridiculous.
president you
saying that we are-
advocated for
Hold on,
4 years,
I-
Joseph
listen,
R.
I wanna
Biden,
see
allowed our
Listen,
border
I'm not
to
gonna
be
let you
open.
gaslight me. You
I'm
are
not
being
gaslighting.
ridiculous. Most
To
of
Joe Biden
it is
letting
a fraction.
tons
It
and
is
tons and
it is a
tons.
very
Well, tell
small
that to the
fraction.
families of fentanyl families who have died.
No
because of
fentanyl
their
comes from
inaction.
Venezuela.
It comes from the southern
No,
border.
Venezuela
too.
through
Humane.
Mexico.
Hold on a second.
No,
If your
no
argument that
fentanyl
drugs are
comes
not
from
coming from
Venezuela.
Colombia
Harrison,
or
Harrison.
Venezuela to America,
Oh, I am going to argue that no
Hold on a
fentanyl
second.
is coming from
Harrison.
talk to
Venezuela.
the DEA.
Harrison,
No, you are
Harrison.
wrong.
One thing I want people to know is 90% of drugs come from the port of entry, not boats. Just saying.
Talk
You
to
are
the
lying
DEA.
to the
Harrison,
American
talk to
people.
the
You
DEA.
are part of the
Hold on a second,
fabricating
hold
a
on a second.
narrative that doesn't
Hold on a
exist.
second.
Well, your day job is
Harrison,
the View, so let's talk
Harrison,
about
you are-
And you have no day job.
Harrison,
You just lost yours.
Harrison, you are wrong.
I'm not
Okay,
wrong.
Yes,
you're
you are.
wrong because you just mixed up a whole bunch of stuff there.
No, I didn't.
Where
I hope he's never invited back. But anyways, so I want to show different well, let's go back to the original CNN clip talking about New Orleans.
With the state police to coordinate with local officials to identify who these so-called violent offenders are and go apprehend them without shutting down work sites, without shutting down, in many cases, with our infrastructure, is still a recovery here.
The FBI and Louisiana State Police are launching this joint effort to deter assaults on federal officers and also to prevent attempts at obstructing them in this process of enforcement. I wonder if you were worried potentially about incidents like that sparking some of what we've seen in Chicago, for example.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. First of all, people attacking federal agents and federal workers and people who have been told to do their job, threatening them with bodily harm, and in many cases with potential violence and loss of life. That's not the right way to do it either. But that's the response you're getting because these are looked at as raids. It is looked at as, in many cases, the most vulnerable Black and brown populations are being assaulted, and they're roving posses. I mean, this isn't Gunsmoke. We don't have Marshall Dillon. We have local law enforcement authorities. To me, it should be easy to coordinate with them to talk about how do we go and apprehend the most violent criminals, the ones who are hurting us, whether they're homegrown or illegal immigrants. There's got to be a better way to do it.
Councilman Oliver Thomas Jr., thank you so much for the time.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has begun a major immigration crackdown in New Orleans. Officials tell CNN they are hoping to make 5,000 arrests. Homeland Security claims to be targeting criminals from other countries, but similar operations in other cities have rounded up many migrants who don't have any history of violent crime. Some New Orleans Target retailers have posted.
Even if they didn't have violent crime, like a traffic citation or like a parking ticket, they're considering that too.
Signs warning federal agents not to come into their stores in search of undocumented migrants. CNN correspondent Ryan Young joins us now live from New Orleans. We've seen this story before, haven't we, Ryan? So how are they preparing?
We have, Max. Yeah, one of the things that stands out to me in your intro, let's just get this out of the way to start this. 5,000 arrests, that's a big number. I mean, we don't see that across 3 or 4 different states, even when they do large arrest sweeps. So the idea that they'd be able to get 5,000 people just from the New Orleans area, that's an astonishing number. And the impact here has been quite.
And be honest, why do you think it's such a high fucking number? That's the thing that pisses me off about CNN. There's no fucking way that there's 5,000 undocumented people in New Orleans and they caught them all in one fucking day. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how fucking stupid that is?
Chilling. In fact, a large portion of the immigrant community has just disappeared sort of from New Orleans. Everyone's sort of hiding right now. In fact, one immigration lawyer has said, let's treat this like COVID-19 and everyone sort of shelter in place for the next few days. This business behind me has been closed since Monday. This is day number 3. And we'll just walk you close to the door here, Max. I just want to show you this. As it plays out, you can see this sign here that says, everyone is welcome here except ICE. You understand the strong emotions in this community. You have this here. ICE CBP agents do not have consent to enter this business. So they've shut down their doors. Look, we've talked to people across this community who are not only scared, they are terrified. One man was running in the park today. He saw some of the agents. He became nervous. He's a legal citizen, but he said he didn't have his paperwork. So he wasn't willing to not call his wife and drive home slowly to see if he could get away from those agents. He did make it. And we were.
That literally sounds like Nazi Germany. Just saying. And they don't say that enough, but that's Nazi Germany.
We were able to talk to him earlier. But listen to the mayor-elect of the city, the first elected mayor who's Hispanic, talk about what's going on right now and the fear around everything that's going and coming soon.
What they're seeing on TV and reports that they're seeing is not that Border Patrol is going after the most violent criminals. That's not what they're seeing. What they're seeing is what appears to be racial profiling of brown people, and then going after these individuals and treating them like they are these significantly violent offenders.
And Max, you and I have covered a lot of stories together, and we honestly understand there's some folks who are going to tweet and be sort of bigger than life. And that's what some folks in this community are concerned about, that they'll just be folks who will just be captured in this, who have nothing to do with criminal activity. And so there are even school children who are missing school over the next few days.
Wait, what?
Understand there's some folks who are going to tweet and be sort of bigger than life. And that's what.
You mean racist? You mean racist? Like this is the thing. You have to call it out for what it is. It is racism. Literally. What is that fucker's name? Brett Kavanaugh from the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can racially profile someone. It's totally fine. No fucking big deal. Like, by saying stupid shit like this, CNN is completely discrediting the significance of these ICE Gestapo raids. You fucking call it what it is. They are profiling Latinos, specifically day laborers, or anyone that they see that is brown. They don't give a fuck if you have your license. They don't give a fuck if you have your passport. The amount of times they have said to people, that's not real. That's not real. You call it for what it is. Like, what are we fucking doing? This has been 10 months of this. No, 11. 11. Like, what? Enough.
Some folks in this community are concerned about that they'll just be folks who will just be captured in this, who have nothing to do with criminal activity. And so there are even school children who are missing school over the next few days because obviously they're scared what's going to happen with their parents as well. Crime, by the way, is going down in New Orleans. Homicide's down. Violent crime is down. People think those stats should matter as well. But over the next few days, this will be interesting to see how it plays out, because this is the first state where a Republican governor is in charge and all of law enforcement is helping these agents as they move through the city. We know about 20 miles away from here, they've already made a few arrests. So we'll keep following this as it moves on. Max?
It's fucking disgusting. So here's some videos of how bad things are. Because what's happening is they're saying this shit, but they're not showing. And so I'm going to show it because I'm fucking sick of mainstream media not actually giving a story. Really good Twitter account. I really like him. ICE traps roofers on top of suburban home, pointing multiple guns in front of children playing. Agents shut down entire job site, leaving hole in roof, despite the contractor confirming all his employees had work visas. 2 agents chased one guy down our street with guns drawn, neighbor said. This is a home they surrounded with guns. I have children. DHS released a statement claiming that the raid was part of a targeted arrest, but it was necessary to briefly detain everyone they suspect might be illegal. They suspect because they're brown. Let's be real. The incident occurred in Kenner, Louisiana, about 10 miles northwest of New Orleans.
Hey!
Look at this. This is just so terrifying. Like, this man's trying to fucking work, and this guy has pepper spray pointed at him. Imagine pepper spraying someone on a fucking roof. Like, can we talk about that? That man would probably go to his death. Just saying. I'm sorry. What's the threat, buddy? What's the fucking threat?
Got one coming down.
Wearing masks like a fucking losers.
Come on. Hey! Suelta eso. Hey, ¿estás subiendo? Suelta eso.
I'm sorry. Why is there so many guns pointed at this man? Like, what are we doing? 1 gun, 2 guns?
Hey!
So there's 2 people. This is fucking bullshit. Look at this. Okay, I'm not a gun person, to be completely honest. But that's not a paintball gun. I'm dumb, but I'm not that fucking dumb.
Hey! We got 3.
What were they doing? Who were they harming? They weren't harming anyone to me. I just don't understand how people can live their lives and think this is acceptable. I don't. This is another situation that happened in Louisiana. This is also a good Twitter account. This video is terrifying. And anyone who claims to, quote, be outraged over human trafficking while being perfectly fine with masked men chasing young women down the street needs to sit with their hypocrisy for a minute. Because yesterday in Marrero, Louisiana, masked men did exactly that. They chased a young woman, a U.S. citizen, as a car rolled up beside her. She only escaped because she was close enough to sprint into her house. But what if she hadn't been? What if she'd been 1 block farther, 1 second slower? Women are constantly warned about kidnappings. Every abduction story starts the same: masked men, a vehicle rolling up, panic, silence. Even the FBI has issued alerts about people impersonating agents. That's true. And yet, here we are watching real agents behave exactly like the men we warn our daughters, sisters, and friends to run from. So, why are we allowing this? Why are masked men allowed to illegally stop, detain, and terrorize young women in broad daylight in general? Like anyone. She got away this time, but we've all seen the videos of what happens when someone doesn't. And far too often these agents assault the very women they claim they have the quote authority to detain. So you'll see her coming. Look, I don't know if you can see on the two cars in the right-hand corner.
Leave me alone!
I'm sorry. You need a fucking warrant to talk to someone. You can't just go up to anyone. And yet that is what they are doing. Like, I just don't understand. It's every fucking day. This is kind of bullshit. This reporting.
Vehicles made by this Brampton-based defense manufacturer are set to be delivered to U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement before the end of the year. According to U.S. procurement documents, Rochelle is uniquely positioned to deliver what ICE agents require within the necessary timeframe and confirmed immediate availability of vehicles that fully meet ICE specifications. Asked if the federal government has any concerns about the deal with a U.S. department accused of abusing human rights as it deploys U.S. President Donald Trump's mass deportation efforts, the foreign minister didn't say.
The government is not involved in the transaction. We have not received any questions or permit requests regarding this transaction. And I will continue to reiterate that Canada and the United States have a strong bilateral relationship with an open line of communication in which, if necessary, I will raise the issues with Secretary Rubio.
Look at these things. I'm sorry. Why do you need those vehicles? They want these vehicles down your street. These vehicles down your street.
Brampton-based defense manufacturer are set to be delivered to U.S.
What? I'm sorry. Why? Why do you need these vehicles down my fucking street? It's just, I don't. No, you don't. You don't. It's just, and that's the thing. When you give $1 billion to these fucking disgusting pieces of shit, every single time they'll get away with it. It's pretty fucking disgusting, to be honest. And it's getting tiring how much our tax dollars are getting wasted, and yet time and time again you hear oh, we don't have money for infrastructure. Oh, we don't have money to make bullet trains. We don't have money to give you universal health care. But we have money for that. And no one questions it. No one questions it. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just very odd. But let's talk about Trump and his no, actually, I want to talk about this. Asmongold is the top political commentator in Twitch. And he's kind of making the rounds because of what he has said about Ilhan Omar. And I would like to react to what he has said. And if you don't know who Asmongold is, I'm so jealous of you. I really am. This man literally had a dead rat in his room. This man is also a multimillionaire. I would like to make that clear. A dead rat in his room. And whenever the sun came up and he hit the rat and smelled it, that's when he knew when to wake up. I kid you fucking not. This is a real story. He bragged about it. It's fucking disgusting. That is where people are getting their political commentary from. It's gross. So he's doing like a Nick Fuentes kind of like shift. But like he says such vile things about everything. Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. It makes me really sick to watch. And I want you to know, like, this man literally is a multimillionaire. Okay. And don't forget that. He lives in a fucking shithole. He's a piece of shit and he is a racist. He is saying this about a sitting congressperson who is a American citizen, but just because she was born in a different country, this is what he says about her.
I remember I saw this. So I thought that this another stupid fucking bitch. Where is this here? Ilhan Omar. Oh my God. Like the day that she gets deported, I will probably do like a 12-hour stream. I will be so happy. And so she goes and says, I didn't, but is your president a pedophile? She goes and says, your president. Your president. That's right, because your allegiance is to Somalia. You're not here for being a
So your president is a pedophile, Asmongold. You didn't counteract that. That wasn't the issue. That's not what you focused on. You have no fucks given when you support a pedophile. You're only mad because a brown woman is from a different fucking country and she's smarter and more successful than you and actually does something with her life, actually changes people's lives. You, on the other hand, do fucking nothing but brain rot our youth.
American. You're talking about working in the best interest of Somalians. This is unbelievable, man. She's legal? Change the law. That's what I think. You have a law that lets people like this hold office. You got to fix that shit real quick. What are we talking about? Yeah, absolutely. I remember I saw this.
That is the top political commentator on Twitch. The top political commentator on Twitch. I'm sorry, did you learn anything? Are you smarter? Did your brain not get fried by the stupidity from that fucking clip? The sheer racism from that clip? The unnecessary Islamophobia from that clip? Well, there's more.
I think Islamophobia, I'm just going to say it, I think it's a made up bullshit fake word. I do. Islam is it is a collection of ideas. You cannot be phobic towards a collection of ideas. People that are like, you could say they're racist if they don't like Arabs. Sure, right? Yeah, definitely. But it's not a phobia if you just don't like certain ideas. It's like you don't have Democrat phobia, Republican phobia, Christian.
Isn't Trump derangement syndrome something you fuckers made up?
Phobia, like it's not real. It's just a made up word that's meant to silence dissent. And I think that the reason why it's been so effective is because a lot of people buy into it. And I think the reason why they buy into it is that it feeds into intersectionality, whereas it's a foreign race with a foreign religion. And so we're not.
Islam is not a race. Islam is a religion. Like, what are we doing?
Not allowed to criticize it. And I think that that's the reason why the UK, that's the reason why Europe as a whole, you know, not all countries, but some of them have had so many problems with dealing with this level of extremism because they refuse to say what it is. That's the problem. And honestly, do you know who they should be asking for help with? They should ask the UAE. They should ask Qatar. They should ask.
Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him about Qatar? Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him? Because obviously this motherfucker doesn't know shit.
Saudi Arabia to help them because they know how to fucking deal with it. And it's
called slavery. That's how they deal with it. Slavery and suppression.
Very clear that Europe doesn't.
So that is someone who just continues to spread hate and racism towards people. And the thing is, what I just don't understand is how we're accepting of this. But then you also have the president of the United States saying this. So, I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? Because if you are allowing this kind of rhetoric, if you have a person saying this rhetoric, then everything's fine. Even though this country is built off the backs of African slaves and immigrants. Like like I just don't understand why this is something that people are just like forgetting. Okay, it's not rhetoric, Abby. It's pure racism. It's pure Islamophobia. Like, again, CNN, stop whitewashing this. He is clear as day telling us how he fucking feels about brown people from Somalia. So why don't you be honest? It's not rhetoric. Rhetoric. I'm trying to give a good example of rhetoric. Rhetoric is make America great again. That's rhetoric. Oh, we're going to make America great again. We're going to, this was before Trump said anything about how affordability is a hoax. But the thing is, it's just like, that's rhetoric. This is a nothing, something completely different. $91. That's how many counts of different felonies Trump committed. 91. Trump has 34 felony convictions. Trump did a fucking coup. I don't want to hear fucking shit about what this motherfucker thinks. Did what happened in Minnesota was wrong? Of course, obviously. But from this fucker, I don't want to hear anything. Nada.
Somalians ripped off that state.
It's Somalis, but
for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. Their country stinks.
Somalia has been ravaged with so much harm, genocide, war. And they want just a better life. But because they are born in a different country that is not here, that's an issue. Even though Trump has married 2 different immigrants in his fucking life, even though his children are children who basically are considered baby anchors, but no one talks about that. That's not a thing. But because they are white, it's different.
And we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries too.
And now a federal official tells CNN that ICE will launch an operation targeting Somali immigrants in Minneapolis and in St. Paul in the coming days. Camille Foster is back with us. This is not surprising because it is often the case that when something happens, Trump targets the entire community. But in this case, 59 individuals brought to justice or will be brought to justice over this alleged fraud. But now everybody from Somalia should be kicked out of the country?
Yeah. Look, the categorical denunciations are bad. It is also the case, and this isn't qualifying it in a way that abdicates Trump's responsibility for having said it, although he isn't the most sophisticated communicator. Charismatic, sophisticated, not so much. This is how we talk about race and ethnicity in this country. We do a lot of categorical denunciations. For a very long time, it was all about kind of Black lives and whiteness and what whiteness does. No one should be shocked that this is how we're talking about Somalians in this context as well. And I think in general, if we were to move away from that kind of categorical nonsense, it'd be a little bit easier to take on board the condemnations of the president in this context, as opposed to having to just kind of do it when it's convenient for us. So that's the first thing I'd say. But again, I do think that responsibility for this sits with the president. He ought to be a hell of a lot more careful. It is completely inappropriate to condemn an entire community for the failings of a particular community, but the failings of particular people in the community, but the failings of those people are real. And the actual scandal here is genuinely egregious. And there are lots of political actors who ought to be condemned. And I do think that
So I'm going to kind of push back on that. It's not the entire Somali community in Minnesota that did anything wrong. It's a certain group of people. Just like all of the white-collar crimes that are committed on Wall Street every fucking day. Like, this is the things you have to put into perspective. We literally, at the same time, have Pete Hegseth doing war crime after war crime after war crime, executing innocent civilians on international waters. But no one is talking about, well, that's a lie. No one is talking about that group of people. It's the perspective. Like, what are we doing?
Do ourselves a disservice when we don't try to interpret this in a way that allows us to both condemn the categorical statements here that are, again, irresponsible and wrong, but also acknowledge there is actually a real controversy here. There's something that ought to be addressed.
I think that everyone acknowledges that this is a real not only a real controversy, it's a real criminal case. And these people are being tried. However, Trump is basically saying he literally has said they don't contribute anything. They should go back. We don't want them here.
I think what he said was that the people who are complaining, et cetera, and who come from these bad countries, that they are bad and we don't want them here. Again, I think that's how most people who support the president are going to interpret this in a generous way.
But this is really the latest panicked scapegoating because Trump is in real trouble in a lot of areas. He fell asleep 4 times during this meeting, by the way, which is...
Where's Jake Tapper, by the way? Have you noticed he's been kind of silent? Is he working on his new book, 79? He's been pretty silent. I haven't seen him promote anything. I haven't seen him talk about Trump and the fact that he has fucking cankles the size of watermelons, or the fact that the man can barely stay up past a single sentence someone speaks to him. And that he has still to this day the worst fucking makeup job you can possibly have on your hand, covered with band-aids. Like, where's Jake Tapper? I'd like to know.
Raising even more questions about the energy level.
Having your ass kissed for hours could be a little boring.
Yeah, apparently we've got the war crime situation. Voters increasingly know. He said he was going to bring prices down. Prices.
In fairness, though, this is the deflection that I'm talking about. There is a legitimate issue here.
Any
failure.
That's not deflection. That's not deflection, though. It's a fact. That means the president of the United States should be 25th Amendment because he's unfit to serve. I think that's a little bit more important. Don't get me wrong. If we lived in Minnesota, obviously that would be a big scandal. But it should not be a national fucking news thing. Unlike the fact that the president of the United States can barely stay awake for more than 2 minutes. The fact that he is always fucking tweeting. Apparently, a couple of days ago, he tweeted 400 times in one night. 400 times. That motherfucker, someone needs to take his phone. No one should tweet that fucking much. 400 times. It's absurd that no one has said, hey, that man needs to be 25th Amendment. Meanwhile, after this, I'll show you the difference between the two. Between when Joe Biden did his horrendous, oh my God, what the fuck situation, how they were talking about him, and compared to how they talk about Trump. And we can see the difference. Because I think it's important how rhetoric is. And for whatever reason, Trump just continues to get away with fucking everything. And it's so annoying.
The failure of Minnesota officials who actually permitted this kind of nonsense to take place.
Wait a minute.
That is precisely why people are talking about it.
No, that's not why he's talking about it. Trump is talking about it because he's a racist. And for a black man to say that is a fucking insane thing. Of course, there are scandals like this every day in every state. It's not a national news thing. But the fact of the matter is, the only reason that Trump is focusing on this is because they are from Somalia. He called them shitholes last time he was president. He fucking hates brown and black people. And it's a disgrace as a black man to defend him and say that's why he's talking about it, because of the scandal, not because he's a racist prick.
The governor of Minnesota, who didn't answer any of the whistleblowers or the warning signs on this scandal, who swept it under the rug, nearly became the vice president of the United States.
Precisely.
We have 34 count convicted felon. Like, I don't think we're saying that enough. Like, immediately, someone at that table needed to say 34 count convicted felon, literally in the Epstein files, literally. The DOJ has had to pay over $1 million in overpay to FBI agents to take out Donald Trump's name. I'm sorry. I don't give a flying fuck about walls when you have the president of the United States literally doing crimes every fucking day.
And everyone
once
in the
is running
American
for
news
re-election
media
now.
ignored this. The New York Times is just now reporting on a scandal that's been years in the making. Why?
And the
You
story's
didn't.
worth-
Why didn't they do a
Hold on,
deep dive on Tim Walz and the
Hold on,
campaign
hold on,
on
wait,
this?
wait, wait, hold on.
How is this possible?
Wasn't it Merrick Garland of the Biden administration that brought many of these charges in the first place?
Yes, and Tim Walz.
So are you
it
really
happened on Tim
suggesting
Walz's
that
watch.
Democrats ignored it, even though a Democratic
Tim Walz is an
there was a-
incompetent
the-
governor, and yes, he ignored
the
it.
Attorney General of a Democratic
It's
administration
a state
prosecuted the case.
It's a state. It's fraud
So-
within a state program in
but
Tim
look,
Walz's administration.
Here's the question that I have. Trump has now put a target on the back of Somali Americans all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, Camille, what you were saying about the significance of these fraud charges. What I am asking is it legitimate in the United States of America in 2025 for anybody who is from a particular nationality,
Mm-hmm.
whether you are Somali or Afghan, to be painted with the brush of any other person who happens to be from a similar ethnic or a country of origin, to be painted with that same brush? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing?
Group slurs are wrong. Let's get that out of the way.
This is what he does, right?
Okay, but it's
very
either wrong or
reminiscent of
it's
what
either
he
right
did.
or it's wrong.
It's of course it's wrong, and it's
It's
very
not just
reminiscent of what
no,
he
this
did
is-
with the Haitians, right? They eat cats. They
I have to go. My dog is breathing really strangely, and I need to go. I have to take care of her. I'm so sorry. I need to go take care of my dog. I don't know what's going on with her. But I will stream when I can.